In this last video for this PowerPoint section, we're going to look at disk management, and we've seen this quite a bit before, so this will be fairly short, but we will see a couple of things we haven't seen before. So first of all, the disk management tool we will get to by clicking Start and going to, well, actually we're going to right click Start and go to disk management. Now, it takes a little bit of time to populate sometimes, depending on how many disks you have and how long it takes them to spin up so that it can see them. Once it's populated, you have the individual partitions or volumes up here. Remember, they're partitions if it's a basic disk, and they're volumes if it's a dynamic disk. Down here in the bottom half, over on the left, are the physical disks, and over on the right are the partitions or volumes. If I want to do something to a whole disk, a physical disk, I right-click over here on the left side. Here I can do things like convert it to a dynamic disk. I can change to a spanned volume, a striped volume, a mirrored volume, a RAID volume once I've changed it to a dynamic disk. And I can take it offline. Over here on the right, I can right click over here. I can shrink the volume if I want to, for example, make this into 2 different volumes, or I can change the drive letter. I can format the thing if I want to reformat it, delete the volume, and so on. I can also look at the properties of it. Here I can change, for example, the name of the disk. I've got it called Data 2 in this case. And then here are some tools for error checking and optimizing and defragmenting and so on. Don't defragment SSD drives. Any solid state drives are they don't need to be defragmented because they are random access. Here are security tools for setting permissions to those drives. I can set quotas and the sharing if I want to share out on a network and so forth. So this is the disk management tool. Now I also have a few things that I can do from Windows Explorer. So for example, if I right click a drive, I can go down to properties. I can get to the same properties I was just at a little while ago from the disk manager. Now this is all well and good for the client software. However, in server we have a little bit different situation. So let's call up a server. This is a virtual server on my machine, and server has this thing called Server Manager. Now you don't have to have Server Manager running. If I turn off Server Manager, you can see it looks very much just like a Windows machine, but Server Manager comes up automatically when you start this machine up. Here in Server Manager, you see I have something called File and Storage Services. So if I click File and Storage Services, here is where I can do a lot of stuff with my volumes. I can set up my storage pools over here if I want to use storage pools, and set up my shares, and I can work with my disks over here. You can see that I can open up and close up those disks and volumes over here. So this is where I can see those same things. Now I also have the disk management tool over here. Now I'll open that up, and you can see my disk management tool looks very much like it does in the Windows client software. However, it's better on server to work with it as best you can here from the Server Manager. By the way, I also, from Server Manager, I also have capability of working with other servers and clients, and working with volumes on other servers and clients that are on my domain if I have a domain running. So I'm not going to go very deeply into the things that we can do on server because this is not primarily a Windows Server class. Let's go back down to our PowerPoint. So with the disk management tool, I can create, format, and delete partitions, manage removable storage such as DVD and CD-ROM drives. By the way, it's very interesting to me that from the disk manager, let's go back to my disk manager for a moment. It might take a moment again to populate. There we go. I've got 3 optical drives on here, and they all say CD-ROM, but they're all DVD drives, so don't be fooled by that. They don't always render perfectly on that. Convert between basic and dynamic disks. These are just some pictures of those properties and of the Windows, of the server manager storage and disk and storage services area that we were just looking at a moment ago. So that's it for the disk and management tools in Windows. We're not going to be looking at the Linux and the Mac OS tools for this class. So that is the end of our videos for this particular set of slides.